Hello once again in another Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Haze. Haze is a new apothecary unit in the game right now, and I'm going to be comparing him to Gertrude and Elfin. Let's start off with his stats. Looking at its stats, its most notable stats are his physical attack and his speed. His speed being notably higher than most other apothecaries in general, but also his physical attack is even higher than Gertrude. Gertrude sits at 404 and Elfin sits at 380. However, both Gertrude and Elfin have more HP and physical defense. Gertrude's elemental defense is a bit lower than Haze's, but Elfin's elemental defense is higher. So for tanking, he's not that suited. Next up, let's have a look at his passive skills. When Haze is at full HP, he raises the axe damage of the entire front row by 15%. This also triggers when he is in the back row, a great ability to help boost other axe users. Also, his 3-star ability gives him a 20 physical defense down on the enemy for 2 turns when he breaks them, and he will get a 20% attack up for 2 turns for himself. He also has a 20% ice resistance and a 10% fire resistance. This 3-star ability is actually really good, and we will see why when we take a look at his active skills. So Haze has a axe nuke and a fire nuke, and he has a front row regen like most apothecaries. But what makes Haze so great is his final 2 skills. He has a priority movement random target 4-hit axe attack, which means that he does this attack before any of your other party members do their move. Stacked up with his passive, which does the physical defense down, this can be great to deal some big damage with your other party members. And lastly, we have his physical axe damage of 120 potency and also dealing fire damage of 120 potency in the same attack, similar to Eliza's attack. This attack also deals 50% more potency if the target is bleeding, but it removes the bleeding afterwards. So you could for instance stack this up with Stead, Scarecrow, Jamila, like every character that bleeds to the target, you could do some mad damage with Haze. Next up, let's take a look at his ultimate. So his ultimate attack is called Requiem, and it deals 500 up to 600 physical axe attack and has 20% more potency if the target is bleeding. This also has a moderate chance to inflict bleeding, so you could choose to use this skill first before using the special attack, which removes bleeding on enemy break. Of course, when you are breaking, you are probably breaking with Haze anyway, so you will have to choose between which skill to use. Next up is Accessory. It gets a 70 physical attack and a 70 elemental attack, and also raising axe damage by 15%. When breaking an enemy, you have a high chance to inflict bleeding, which of course can be greatly stacked with Haze's fire and axe attack special to do some extra damage after you broke the enemy. And then we have his voice actor. His voice actor is Tasuku Hatanaka, which is famous for voice acting multiple roles, notably Yuma Tsukumo from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, Ikoma from the Iron Fortress of the Kabanari, and Denki Kaminari from My Hero Academia. And now let's talk about what makes Haze so great compared to other characters and how you could be using him. So I'm going to do things a little bit different this video around. I'm not going to be talking about whether or not you should pull him, if he's great, where he belongs on the tier list. I am still going to do a tier list video later down the line. but I'm just going to talk about what Haze is good at. So starting off, he is great at breaking, doing some nice damage and 4-hit random attack with priority. This priority skill is also very impressive because if you break with it, you can get an extra 20% physical defense down, which helps your other axe users. He also got a 15% axe damage up for your entire front row if you have full HP with him, so you can also backpack him in your back row. He could also fit well with bleeding teams. If the enemy is bleeding, you can do some extra damage, but also you can help add bleed to the enemies with him. His damage, however, is something to be desired with. It's not as high as Elfin, who has a 260 power nuke, which doubles in power if he's low on health. There's no way Haze can outdamage him. Even Gertrude has a 230 power nuke, which has a guaranteed crit hit. So even though they have lower physical attack, they can still outdamage Haze. However, Haze can do more damage than Gertrude at the very least if the enemy is also weak to fire and is bleeding. This way you do 2 hits of 180 potency rather than 2 hits of 120, doing a bit more damage than Gertrude. And last but not least, he has a regen, like most apothecaries, but Haze being able to provide some extra buffs, debuffs, damage, and regen makes him a very viable and useful character. And that's it for the video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. So, goodbye!